Welcome, fellow sentient being on a human journey. Do you want to live your dreams rather than dreaming your life? It can happen, as the provisional nature of reality is just that. We live in field upon field of integrated vibration. There is no top level, there is no bottom level. The ordinary structures of space-time are simply that. If we can rise out of the human dimension, we can discover the much larger, more integrated dimensions where mind and nature and our spirit somehow interpenetrate each other. Beneath reality is a bizarre thing. It is made of magic. Anything can happen. Just wondering what that guy over there is on about. Let's go and have a look. Hey you, this is the future. We find it hard to buy into all this sort of stuff. You know, in the West, the guru model's been shrunken down by Western scientism. You know, we don't really believe characters like you. My friend, the guru may not have the importance that it once had, and I may be small, but I can still add a lot of value to your life. One small piece of information can change your life in so many profound ways. That key could come from your relationship with your guru. So you should listen. How could that be? You know, science has taught us so much. You know, we realize that we are 4 billion year old reconstituted matter consisting of atoms, which are only 5% solid. A neutron moving around a nucleus and large empty spaces. Our bodies sit at a temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If we get 9 degrees hotter or cooler, we will cease to exist. You know, we currently live on a fragile planetary body which is moving at approximately 60,000 miles per hour in a huge elliptical shape around a ball of burning gas in the gargantuan spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, which itself contains 100 billion stars. This is just one of 50 billion galaxies in the known universe. For the first time in history, we have developed the knowledge to realize just how little we know about what reality really is. So we know it all in a sense. What is the meaning of life? What about the inner universe? You have not mentioned that. It is a valid part of what makes us human. How is science accounting for that? Once you glimpse those dimensions, once you've had that information, once it has touched you, once it has touched your being, it is with you forever. 1 second of information can be very, very powerful. You know, like the little boy in the dark room with the snake in the corner. He's left for years when he's being brought up in cruelty, and he sees a big coil in the corner and he presumes it is a snake, and the person feeding him one day opens the door too much and the light shines through, and as soon as that light hits the coil, the boy is just, all his fear disappears because... Okay, just sitting here doing the final edit, and I realised the guru's forgot to come in with the punchline, because he realised the coil is a rope, not a snake. Because that 1 second of information, and it has transformed him. Because no longer in the dark is he afraid. You know, that is how powerful just 1 second of information can be. Dude, I'm a bit skeptical about this esoteric stuff. We live in the manifest world. Hurled objects shatter, I cannot fly. You know, going within could give you more focus, still your mind, and expand the perception of your human experience. Therefore, you have more clarity in your life. You know, once you can see the object of thoughts arising in your mind, you have more focus in your life. You know, for example, try this with your mind going around and around and around. Okay, I'll give it a go. Maybe there's something to this. You know, focus can really add value to your life.
Okay, I'll give it a go. Maybe there is something to this.
Wow, that was pretty impressive. Yeah, you surprised me a bit there. You Western guys have got it going on a bit. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. You're right. Happy to have you here in some of the most exciting
Certainly
times
gives a bit of
all
focus
human
going
history.
inside like that.
I'm just mucking around here. You know, those two are both aspects of me, but they're not me. You know, we're always discussing the paradoxes of our world. In that skit, I just wanted to bring to your attention that the real guru is the guru within. It's that universal guru principle that guides you and allows you to make the choices that add value to your life, the life of the community, the planet, and the evolution of the universe. You know, we all have different aspects of ourselves. The guru could be your higher self, your truth or crap detector, that tiny voice that guides you. I just wanted to share a bit about what yoga means to me. You know, it's all about growth of all aspects of ourselves. Growth comes in many forms, and if you look around, building complexity is happening everywhere. It is built into the very fabric of our reality. Things have transformed from atoms to cells to molecules to simple life to complex organisms to organisms that have sight, can interpret sounds, colour, aesthetics, beauty. Well, to us, the now complex humans. Within that growth, we are ourselves going through transformation. When you look at your own life and shared worldviews, you know, there are 5 to 7 worldviews that we go through as our mind develops, depending on what model you look at it from. I need some props here. That's better. In the first few years of when we come into this world, you know, we hold a archaic worldview. We are perhaps only minimally aware of ourselves and our relationship with the world around us, to think of the extent I am hungry, etc. Then another layer of mind moves to another level, a magic worldview. We'll just use this Russian nesting doll as an example. This is one-dimensional, pre-perspectival, point-like existence that occurs in a dreamlike state. You get the picture. We believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, so forth and so on. As time moves on in healthy minds, yet another level of mind transcends and includes the last. We move to a worldview that can hold perspectives. You know, studies show that in our psychological development around ages 5 to 7, we can hold the role of other. There's a series of experiments that shows this. If you take a ball that is coloured green on one side and red on the other, and put the green side facing the child and ask him, what colour are you looking at and am I looking at? He will say green, even though you are looking at red. He cannot put himself into your shoes, and around 7, she will get this correct. This is moving into another important stage or developmental series, a mythic or pre-rational worldview. You know, we believe in God, heaven, hell, damnation or salvation, etc. So what colour am I looking at? Gotcha, because I don't have red and blue because I could not find the right ball. But then again, transcends and includes the last realities. Then we move to a rational state of mind. This comes down. These stages are not good and bad, they're just one thing. Okay, it's just where we're all at. This has given us a rise to the idea of science as the dominant religion of today. But this is also the time for philosophy, you know. And then another level of mind comes down. It's a post-rational level of mind. And that transcends and includes the rational mind. You know, here in a post-rational sense, we encounter a few difficulties because people at rational see this as a non-rational perspective, and so they can't understand that there is something beyond where they're at, and so they reduce it down to trans-rational. And so it's a bit of a thing with yoga that a lot of people in the mainstream see it as a pre-rational sort of thing. Yeah, so that's one of the main things of mainstream. They can't understand that there are these other levels beyond them, and you know, you sort of get pigeonholed into, you know, yoga being esoteric and weird, and when it's not really, it's just part of the growth and development. You know, and so after the post-rational, we have yet another level of mind which comes and transcends and includes the post-rational. It's the integral or world-centric stages. Here you care about others in the world. You know, you feel if you are here, or if you're here, probably go and read some Ken Wilber or something like that, because he will communicate these dimensions a lot more fully than I can really comprehend. But when you get the picture, there's levels of growth coming on top of each other as we move through our mind, through our lives. You know, I get asked questions about the conflicting mind. A lot of that is when the higher self, you know, growth is occurring and the lower mind tries to push it out as it comes up. You know, like the dolls, you're always getting encompassed, and it can be weird, funny, scary. You know, it comes back to listening to the example, you know, of the inner guru. We mostly know that we have to do stuff to stay strong. You know, and if you know that it's right for yourself, just do it and keep at it. So that's a quick overview of growth. No one is really clear on how we grow through the stages. One thing that most agree on is that if you're healthy, that is more likely that you're going to be growing. That is where yoga and other practices come in. One thing you can take to the bank is doing more yoga, not just the exercise, also the meditation, the right food choices and the moral choices is going to help you develop a lot more. You know, it can be entirely transforming. There is no limit to how far you can go. It all comes down to a choice in this moment of the ever-expanding now. Hopefully we're going to have some more guru and intellectual stuff for you in the future, and you might hopefully enjoy this little skit and everything. So thanks for watching, and until next time.